Arno, what cheer?
Parishioners found a body in Notre Dame today. The wags are already calling him the Penitent. I take it justice has been done?
Not entirely. Sivert had an accomplice the night of Monsieur de la Serre's murder. He struck the killing blow.
This raises troubling questions. What have you learned?
He was working with a man called Le Roi des Thunes.
The King of Beggars? Are you sure?
You know him?
Of him. The beggars pay him tribute. The man himself is a ghost. We've sent 3 assassins after him. The first 2 found no trace. The third never returned.
I can find him. Sivert met with one of his lieutenants. I owe it to the memory of Monsieur de la Serre to uncover the truth.
Perhaps you can at that. You've proved yourself a true assassin today. And a true assassin must have the proper tools.
So the concealed blade and the smoke bombs were just what you had on hand, then?
The Phantom Blade. A modest little update from the traditional assassin's blade. Where you're going, you may not wish to get too close to your enemies. Now then. Assassin, this council charges you to go to La Cour des Miracles. Find there the Templar agent, Le Roi des Thunes. Learn his secrets, and bring him peace.
Stop right there! I'll have your head!
Avoir connu de meilleurs jours.
Ce que j'appelle une belle bastonnade.
Par ma barbe!
Cet homme m'a attaqué.
Now, this is a fortunate coincidence. I bring you.
Il faut le corriger, mes frères.
Alors, t'y fais. C'est tout comme ça.
sac à vin me fait perdre mon temps.
His Grace doesn't care about excuses. He cares about results. If you can't make the quotas, he makes...
Back down! Do not come this way!
Et c'est moi qui devrais faire attention à midi.
There you are. Le Roi des Thunes' lieutenant, Latouche.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. Look. Lovely, no? The good folk of Paris give more money to crippled beggars than whole ones. Le Roi des Thunes sees in that bit of trivia an opportunity to motivate his less successful employees.
That man...
Has lost a foot. Now you can charge in there, cause a great disturbance, and send all the rats scurrying back to their holes. Or you can disappear into the swarm and follow the rats back to their king. Either way, that man has lost a foot.
It's done.
Take him to the clinic for a proper cauterization, then send him back to the street.
Come on, up you get.
I appreciate the advice.
Not yet.
Who are you, precisely? And why help me?
Oh, I've had my eye on you for some time now, Arno. I feel it my sovereign duty to aid all those who suffered in cruelest bondage with me at the Bastille. And I have a vested interest in seeing the King of Rats caught in a trap. As to my name, I have the pleasure of being Donatien Alphonse François, Marquis de Sade. Do pay me a visit when you've tired of chasing vermin. Oh, he's left a lovely trail. Good luck.
Nights are getting cold again.
Don't seem worried. I know where the chimneys are.
What chimney?
The ones his Grace had put in when he took over down below. Sleep on one of those, you'll be as warm as a babe in arms.
Grace isn't fond of tardiness. Your day will come, Liberty.
Rather sooner than you think, I'm sure.
Somebody cut your innards out to play with!
Fancy a drink later?
Do I know you? Keep your distance!
Is it true what he did to Thierry? I remember the man's screams and how long it lasted. And that was for an accounting error.
You're joking. I thought he'd skimmed off the tape or some such.
Nope, he misplaced a 1 in a ledger.
Right. Double time it is.
You wanna fight me? Why the rush? I'd love to kick the shit out of your phony arse.
Get him inside, quickly. Something doesn't feel right.
He's dead, sir.
Then toss him in the gutter and get yourselves inside.
hearing things. Bloody head sitter! You can't escape!
What's the order for the unfortunate in bed 6?
Horribly burned in a fire that killed his family and drove him mad.
A burn job? Do you know how hard those are to get right without burning half the district to ash?
Use a few drops of the strong acid. Layman can't tell the difference. No! No, please!
Give me Le Roi des Thunes, and I'll spare you your life.
The carcos! He's in the carcos beneath the old church!
Latouche, I expected a stronger spine than yours. What will your master say?
Oh, God. God help me.
Hold him steady.
No! No! Please!
Piss off, you lot.
All right. We didn't all study with the Mongol before drink brought us to ruin, you know? One time.
That's it!
One time I
Now
mentioned
one
that.
more step!
Whatever you say, Professor.
Hold your line, men! Come and say hello, you rat! déclencher de nouveau.
Je vous en prie, baissez vos armes. Vous n'êtes pas notre ennemi. Je veux simplement m'en aller.
Ça faisait une scène. Attends. Non, là. Les gens comme toi ne meurent pas vieux par ici.
Scarcely made a denier all week.
That should smoke them out.
With triple amputees and wounded veterans.
Miss another tribute, and you'll be remembering your own brave service at Grunberg.
Go back to your armor.
Charlot's having a slow day! How you like to be his next customer?
I'm gonna gas that mother.
Never survive.
Contre la volonté du peuple.
Let's see the bastards push us around now.
Get him!
Got it! On my way! Now what?
Let's get out of here.
Bloody counter-revolutionary!
Not drinking. That's odd.
Patriot, die! Your anti-revolutionary days are numbered.
What's happened?
The beggars. They're rioting all throughout the district. You men, with me.
My lord! I've heard reliable reports that an assassin is nearby and that you are his intended target.
The worm has grown a spine. Now he's a snake.
Damn. It was only a matter of time I knew that much. This is far too soon.
Oh, oui, my lord. The assassins are, well connected.
But we have the advantage now, don't we? Muster the guard and lead the hunt for this assassin. Bring me his head.
But my lord, our men are out dealing with uprisings among the beggars. You men, with me. Find them. Stay together, men. Come on, coward! Maybe given up. Show yourself, assassin!
Stop it! Get
Do not let him pass!
Spread out! Find him! He's through there!
Embarrassing.
Hold your positions, men.
That explains what happened to Bélier's last agent.
Bélier's last apprentice brought me the most wonderful gift. I do hope
You run so fast! No, you don't! You won't! There!
My subjects have eyes everywhere, my lord. I offer their knowledge to the service of the Order.
What knowledge could a king of the gutters offer us? The intrigues of rats? You may go.
the intrigues of rats! Pompous fool, if I could lay my hands on him.
My master would be pleased to arrange that. Brother.
You all right, monsieur? Too much of the king's champagne?
Sivert, come away!
It's done. Delaserre is dead. Grand Master.
Good.
Ah, you're just in time for the commencement of my reign.
Your reign?
As long as there's a Cour des Miracles, we must have a Roi des Thunes. And since there seemed to be a vacancy, I stepped in.
With remarkable speed, the body's not yet cold.
I may have set things in motion a trifle early. Say, when you first arrived at La Cour des Miracles?
You used me.
Your target is dead. We used one another.
Quite a kingdom you've inherited.
It is, isn't it? So, is justice served? Are the dead avenged? Is your soul soothed, all that rot?
Rot is a fine description. Every time I think I'm getting close to the truth, it seems another layer of filth presents itself.
Conspiracy, intrigue, a rapidly thickening plot. Add some bestiality and a lecherous priest, and I say you have the beginnings of a beautiful novel.
I'd settle for a solid lead.
So young, and yet so serious. Well, best of luck to you. You have, I trust, looked into this.
Where did you get that?
One of my newly loyal subjects brought it to me as a token of esteem, as it were. It's a curious piece. I know of only one silversmith who works metal like this.
A blade of this make killed Monsieur de la Serre. I can only assume you knew this already. Why didn't you say?
Well, where would man be if he never had to ask questions? If everything he could ever want to know was simply handed to him, he might no longer think to ask questions.
Or he might accomplish a great deal more unburdened by ignorance.
Perhaps. The smith's name is François Thomas Germain. You'll find his shop near Les Halles.
Thank you.
Bonne chance.
Something I can help you with?
What is this place?
It connects to the sanctuary. Less flashy than the Sainte-Chapelle entrance, but we own the building. Used to be part of our intelligence network. But the place has fallen on hard times.
How can I help?
I'll keep an ear out for any opportunities that come up. You might also speak to the Intendant about renovating the building itself.
I'm not exactly flush with coin just now.
Any revenues the cafe generates are yours to do with as you see fit. The money is deposited in the chest in the study, and the more improvements you make...
the more revenue.
Quite. You might also find that expanding our reach into other districts will pay dividends.
Merci.
Impressive, no?
What is it?
An heirloom of the Brotherhood. That armor was worn by Thomas de Corniel.
I have no earthly idea who that is.
He led the raid that captured Jacques de Molay, broke the Templars' power in Europe for over a century. It used to be that an assassin who did a great service for the Brotherhood and for France would be given his armor in thanks. The seal that opens the vault was lost 200 years ago. It hasn't been opened since.
I can see why calling a locksmith was out of the question. Tell me about this seal.
It consisted of 3 rings, one for each of the 3 doors, but the seal was broken before it was lost. The fragments are no doubt scattered around Paris, with only the vaguest clues as to their whereabouts.
And if someone were to find all of them, would you say that he had done a great service for the Brotherhood in France?
I suppose I would at that.
It seems some royalist fanatics, called Les Actes des Apôtres, are on a book-burning spree. Many rare manuscripts are in danger. Meet my contact at Place Dauphine, and save what you can. We'll find them a good home here.
here!
Don't touch me.
You animal! You sacrifice, you maggot!
Easy, friend. I'm no danger to you.
Oh, votre gentillesse mérite des louanges. Merci.
Faut l'envoyer à Bicêtre.
Pourquoi toute cette fébrilité?
Oui, monsieur, pour quelle quantité?
Cherche les ennuis.
C'est drôle, ça.
Arno, I need your help once more.
I'm enjoying it, you bet, Seth.
Smells like you soiled yourself.
Hey now! Hey!
Pourquoi tu seras là?
I've been wrong!
C'est ça qu'avant que perdre mon temps. C'est que j'ai donc livraison à faire, moi. Morbleu, ce sac à vin me fait perdre mon temps. Attendez voir, attendez.
Mais
ça,
il est
c'est
fou.
de la viande. C'est juste.
Are you a royalist? What do you say? Hey? Hey, you need
Thank God you're
answer the
here.
bloody question.
They burned
you
most
look
of
like
you
a
Deschamps
royalist.
library already.
With your
Please
fucking
say what you
clothes and your
can.
stupid accent, you really are a...
Maintenant, où va-t-il donc?
Nous n'avons peur de rien, et surtout pas de vos valeurs.
Oh, le corps commence déjà à sentir.
Allez, par ici. Vous allez bien?
Garde, il y a un cadavre ici. Garde. What do you want? Where's my goddamn...